So it occurred to me that we have not just had a chance to sit and talk across from each other in a little while. So many of you tell me all the time that you feel like you're sitting across from me having a cup of coffee or a glass of iced tea, and I feel the same way as you do, but I've been doing a lot of get ready with me's lately, and although we talk in those, and that's the whole purpose behind them, I haven't just sat and talked without applying my makeup for the most part. So I thought today I had some things I wanted to tell you about, a few new products that I'm trying, let you know whether I like them or I don't like them. But, and I'll tell you a few things as far as what I have on my face. I will list everything in the description bar below, or the show more box below. So don't forget, if you are wondering what I have on my face, make sure and look in the show more box below. If I can find a link for you, I will find it. I'm going to sort of stand up right off the bat and show you this top. I love it. I wear this a lot. I've had this for a couple of years. I believe I got it at the Bell's Outlet here. I doubt seriously if I can find a link to it, but again, if I can, I'll even put this top on. I have a list of things to remind me to talk to you about. I think the first thing that I want to say is we have a hurricane coming our way. I believe it's Dorian. I've had a few of you send me messages and ask me if it was going to affect us, and no, it doesn't look like it will, but it is going to hit the east coast of Florida. I think it's scheduled to make landfall Monday. So just want everyone to know that I'm thinking about you, especially if you live on the east coast of Florida or even in the central part of Florida. Our granddaughter goes to college just north of Orlando, which is in the central part of the peninsula of Florida. And her school has been evacuated as of today, and she is on her way as we speak, driving to get here to stay with us until this is over with. It was a mandatory evacuation for them, so we're just glad that we live close enough that she can get in her car and drive here. It's not a bad drive for her, so I'm excited about getting an unexpected visit with her. You know, everybody, I wanted to stop right here because as I was editing this video, something popped up in my Facebook feed, and when I read it, I thought, you know what, I'm going to read this to you guys too, because it's so very true. We live in the Panhandle of Florida, and the Panhandle for many, many years has been known as the Forgotten Coast. So that's sort of a nickname that that this area has gone by. When people think of Florida, they think of the peninsula of Florida and not the Panhandle, unless you come here for summer vacations from the surrounding states mainly. But this popped up, and although I have tried not to talk too much anymore about the devastation of Hurricane Michael, which was the strongest storm to ever hit the continental United States, and we're almost a year in and we're still not recovered. We're not anywhere close. There is still so much destruction. We still have FEMA trailers. Real estate is sky high. There are no apartments. There are no homes. Small businesses are closing because their workers can't afford to live here. They've had to move away. So small businesses are closing. I can't tell you how bad it is. So we've just We've been forgotten, and we've been saying this for a long time. We still do not have the FEMA money we were promised. And I'm sure that this is not just typical or what's happening here in my area, but it's also happened with other natural disasters too. They make the news when it's happening and then it's forgotten. It never hits the news cycle again. But I'm going to read this to you in case you're watching on your phone or something really small that would make it difficult for you to reach. But this is basically what's going on in the news right now. And it's a conversation. And it says, the media. Dorian is an unprecedented storm for Florida. Panhandle responds, Michael? Media. Florida hasn't seen anything like this in 30 years. Panhandle, or since October. Media, one of the strongest storms, the Panhandle, since Cat 5 Michael. Michael was the storm that hit us. Media, shows animated graphic of a cartoon house to show what Cat 4 winds look like. Panhandle, show every house in Panama City and Mexico Beach. We are the forgotten coast for sure. I think it's perfectly normal to want to stay wherever you are when there's a disaster like this headed your way. You've had ample warning about it. You're told to leave. There are mandatory evacuations. And yet some people decide that they want to stay back for any number of reasons. And I promise you, if the media, the national media, the Weather Service was showing this area, Panama City and Mexico Beach, those people would have second thoughts about staying. They would leave immediately. We've talked to people whose houses were literally blown off of the foundation with them in the house. And that's not just an isolated in one time. It's the same story over and over and over. Lives are lost. The media should be showing pictures of national disasters rather than talking about it and using cartoons. So if you're in that area, please leave. Please leave. I'm going to try to film with her this time. I've never filmed with her, but since she's going to be here, we're going to see what we can do. I think we're going to go shopping. We're going to go vintage shopping one day, and we'll carry you along with us for that. So thinking about you if you live anywhere in the path of the hurricane. Take it from someone who has had experience here. Evacuate, be careful. Something that you may have already noticed, I know some of you who watch me all the time probably have noticed, I have color on my fingernails. Oh my goodness. I never do this, but I have color. And let me tell you what it is. And by the way, I have acrylics on. It's the Sally Hansen Insta Dry number 303. It's called Fruity Fuchsia. I don't know. Yesterday afternoon, I just had a thought that I would polish my fingernails in a color, and I only have a few colors. This was one of them, and I thought it was still pretty summery and would be appropriate. And of course, it matches my top. I was watching JTV 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they were showing a little turquoise necklace, turquoise and gold, and it was just so cute. And I thought, you know what, that would be just perfect to wear with my heart that I wear all the time. And I thought it would be really fun to wear, and I will put a picture up if I can find it still on JTV. I'm sure it's probably still there. I've sent it back. I got it in and I felt like it had been misrepresented. It was super cute. It was just a little strand of blue turquoise beads, Sleeping Beauty. I believe they were Sleeping Beauty. And every so many beads, there were a couple of gold beads. And that was it, other than there was a chain in the back, an extender, so that you could extend it if you wanted to, but it was already like 22 inches, which is a little bit it's much longer than what I wanted for me. So I thought, you know what? Oh, and it was expensive. It was on one of their sales. I think everything is always on sale, but I believe it was $99. And when it came in, it was a cute necklace, don't get me wrong. It was really cute. But number one, I didn't like the extender being there. Number two, it was too long. Number three, they were literally seed beads, which they never said that when they were presenting it. The beads looked to be a little bit larger. So I just didn't feel like, even though the beads were 14 karat gold, and it was real turquoise, I just didn't think it was, for me personally, the value was at $99, even on sale. I think my light just changed. So I thought, you know what, I have beads stockpiled, I have findings, I have all the tools. I thought, I think I can make that little necklace. And I sat down and I made it. And this is it. I hope you can see it. These are just beads I had back when I was making those bracelets that are the memory wire that wrap around your arm a few times. I had the beads already. And I'm telling you, there is not that much difference. And I made it the length that I wanted it without an extender. We're getting new roofs. If you hear the trucks going by, they're 2 buildings down right now. They've been down there forever. But this is still damage from Hurricane Michael for us. So we keep finding damage almost a year. It'll be a year on October the 11th. It will be 1 year since Hurricane Michael. Jim and I were talking just the other day about how many blue roofs we still see, how many blue tarps we still see. They're everywhere. So back to the necklace. I made the necklace, and then I thought, well, why stop with blue? So I made a coral one. Why stop with blue and coral? I made a pink one. I had all these beads. And a white one. So these are just absolutely perfect to wear alone or with other necklaces or with my little heart necklace that Jim gave me a few years ago that I wear all the time. I never take it off unless I clean it. So I love my little necklaces that I made. Saved a whole lot of money. Because I guarantee you, if you held that turquoise necklace that I sent back to JTV up next to the one I made, which is glass beads, I don't think you could tell that. I honestly don't believe you'd be able to tell which was which. So that's a good thing. In my last video, I talked about the skin, the Dimitri James Skin Divine Elixir, how much I love it. And I talked about the fact that he was making a mask to go with this. And I ordered it. And it came in. And let me show you. This is it. It's called the Divine Elixir Luminous Skin Mask, Manuka Honey plus C. And it tells you to apply a thick layer to clean, moisturize face. To intensify benefits, add 2 to 3 drops of the luminescent skin oil to the mask before applying. Wait 15 to 20 minutes, then rinse off or remove with a warm washcloth. Follow with another 2 or 3 drops of luminous skin oil. Okay, so I used this a couple of days ago, and I'm telling you, I could tell no difference in the way my skin felt. I did it exactly using the oil with this. This is going back. I'm sending this back. They made such a big deal out of this, but I could tell no difference at all, not in the way my skin felt after I rinsed it off with hot water. There was just nothing. It had a slight warming effect when I lathered it up. It lathers up when you put it on your skin. You know, it may be something that you want to try, you want to order, and that's fine, and you may love it. But I didn't love this enough to keep it. The Divine Elixir I love, and he said this would be back in stock in October, and I will reorder this in October. Something else I ordered that same day was his Depuffing Eye Moisture Balm. It's a little stick, and it's a balm that you put under your eyes, and it's supposed to depuff them and be cool. It's slightly cool. I could not tell that it depuffed my eyes at all. I am going to put this in the refrigerator though and try it cold and see if it does anything to depuff these 76-year-old aging, tired eyes. We'll see. The jury is still out on this one. Also, a week or so ago, an ad popped up on my Facebook feed, and it was from Thrive Cosmetics. You know, if you're on Facebook, they advertise there all the time. And I do like the Thrive Cosmetics. I think they're a bit expensive, but they are vegan, and they also they do good. They donate to the environment. But this color they were showing of their lip mate was beautiful, and I ordered it. So this is it, and let me show it to you. This is in the color Charlotte. And I will try. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I'll zoom in as much as I can. So it came in, and I was just reading the tip on the top of the box. I had not seen it before. Line lips with tip of wand, then fill in. Well, I found out real quick that it would not cover my lips. It was just strictly a gel with a little bit of color. And those of you who have been watching me again for a long time know that this lip on this side has started to curl under. It's always curled under a little bit my entire adult life, as long as I can remember, but as my face is falling, it's going under even more. So I have to draw just a little bit right there to make my lips even on the top. So I had an idea to make this work. I took one of my CoverGirl long wear lip stains, and this is the 740. I'm not sure what the color is, but it's 740. But it's very similar in color to this. And so I put just a light coat of this on my lips. And then when it dried, I put this on top of it. I love it. I really do love it. It's what I'm wearing today. I really like it. But for me, this is key if I want any color at all, and to be able to fill this lip in over here where it's turning under. You know, they always say getting old is not for sissies, and it's not. Again, those of you who have been watching me forever know that I wear a Fitbit all the time. I wear it on my left arm, and this is it. This is the Fitbit Alta, ALTA. It's waterproof, so I take showers in this, I take baths in this, I go in the ocean in this, in the swimming pool in this. I never take it off except to charge it. And that's about once a week. I will charge it overnight, but I live in this. I used to change the bands a lot, but now I don't. I just find a band that I like, and I'll wear it until it's worn out, and I will replace the band. But I wear it constantly. So last week, when I took it off to charge it, I happened to look down at my arm right here, and I have a rash. It was about 1.5 inches across my arm. And I do not wear this tight on my arm, I wear it loose. So I looked at the rash, it was real red, and I knew that it had to be from my Fitbit. So I Googled, I don't remember exactly what, maybe Fitbit rash or something like that. And up it popped, and evidently this is a thing with people who wear Fitbits all the time and never take them off. Now, I don't know if it's the Apple Watch 2 or any of the other fitness trackers. I don't know. This was just specific to Fitbit. And so one of the things they suggested is that you change arms, number one, that you make sure your band is clean. And I really looked at my band, and it appears to be clean, but still, I stopped wearing, and it said basically just to stop wearing it for a while. So I have not had it on since. Well, I've been wearing it actually on this arm, but I took it off to charge it. But the rash is very definitely clearing up. It's almost completely gone. So I'm going to have to make a decision about my Fitbit, my Alta. I love this. I absolutely love it. This is my second one. I had the Charge HR first, but I just love this one. I like the size of it. I like all the features of it. I don't know. But I haven't worn a watch since I've been wearing this, and I've been wearing a Fitbit for probably 2 or 3 years, every single day and night. But I would tell you to be real careful if you do wear a Fitbit, or maybe any fitness tracker, and sleep in it all the time and take baths and swim and all that. You might check your arm. I don't know how long that rash had been there. I don't think it had been there very long, but it was there nonetheless. I told you recently that I had bought a new sewing machine, and it had an embroidery feature on it, and I certainly didn't think I would ever be doing embroidering. I knew I might play around with it a little bit, but I didn't know, I knew I wouldn't take it seriously. Well, I think I have the embroidery machine bug. I decided one day I would just get it out and try it. And I want to show you some things I've made. Towels. Oops, a string. Really cute there. These, just trying different fonts. These are just hand towels or kitchen towels. And this one is really cute. It says, I don't think you'll be able to see it up close, but it says, many have eaten here, few have died. And then the last thing, and she's coming to see me in 3 weeks, granddaughter Allie from DC. And I bought this little dress at Walmart. And I embroidered her name across the front of it. Gonna be cute. So I have bought stabilizer. I'm learning that you really have to read and study and do everything exactly right to make embroidery on a machine successful. I'm having to relearn that. So I've watched a ton of YouTube videos and read article after article after article to sort of get it figured out about which stabilizers to use with what and how to hoop it. And my machine only has the little 4-inch hoop. That's as large as your pattern can be. And it's truly not even 4 inches. It just has to be able to stitch within that 4-inch. It can't get, the needle can't get too close to the frame, and the frame is 4x4. And I read an article where you can buy another frame for it that is a little bit bigger, which means you can stretch, I've learned, you can stretch the pattern just a tiny bit. But using the little bit larger frame, it doesn't, the needle mechanism that actually is doing the embroidering doesn't hit the frame, if that makes any sense at all. So, as a matter of fact, that's why I could do this one. So I am having a ball doing embroidery. I haven't sewn on it. Well, I did sew on it one time. I finished that yellow quilt that I had started that some of you had seen. But I bought the thread and I bought the stabilizers, and this is turning out to be a little bit more of an expensive endeavor than I thought it was going to be. The last thing I really want to tell you about today, or share with you, and I've debated about sharing this with you. My daughter and her wife have a dog. His name is Arlo, and he was a rescue. He's 2 years old, about 2.5 now. Very well trained. He went off to school to be trained early on, and he is just a good old hound dog, a big hound dog. I'm not sure what kind. He was a rescue. They were attending a charity, a benefit fashion show to raise money for an animal shelter in their city. And one of the dogs that was a rescue that was modeling was a senior. It was a basset hound, a she basset hound. The cutest thing ever, and they knew she was around 13 years old. She had been owner surrendered. They knew she had a couple of medical problems. They knew that she had an eye that she was blind in. She had glaucoma and was blind in that eye. But other than that, they knew nothing about her medical history. So Jennifer and Riley decided to adopt her. And they did all the paperwork, got her, took her to their vet, and sure enough, the eye was bad, and there were some other just things that, you know, she was old. I mean, they thought she was about 13, possibly 14. But she, you know, had to have some things wrong with her. And they got her from being, and this was 3 months ago, they got her from being laying around all the time, having no energy, not wanting to play, just sleeping literally all the time. And their veterinarian felt like it probably had to do with some arthritis. She was just old. And they also felt like, or she felt like, the veterinarian felt like, that because of her eye, that she probably had a headache all the time, literally 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So they live in Little Rock, and there is a group of doctors in Memphis, veterinarians, who specialize in different things, one being allergies. And Jennifer saw them when her little Chihuahua a few years ago had allergy problems. So Jennifer was very familiar with them, and they come from Memphis to Little Rock every Tuesday and see dogs all day long. That's what they do. who have these problems that their owners want to see what they can do about. Rather than having to take them to Memphis, they come to Little Rock. So there was a doctor. They found out one of the doctors that came over was an eye specialist. So they made an appointment a few weeks ago for, and her name was Cupcake. They renamed her Ethel, but somehow Ethel didn't completely stick, so she's Ethel Cupcake. They made an appointment for Ethel Cupcake to go see him. And it was just great news. He said that he can tell by looking at their eye their exact age, and he assured them that she was every bit of 14 and not 13, but 14. And he felt like that, well, she had a tumor in her eye also, and they had been medicating her eye every day, putting drops in it. But he felt like they should remove her eye. That, number one, it would just, her eye was gone anyway. She was blind in the eye, and they would no longer have to deal with medicating her eye. Plus, by removing the tumor, it would probably eliminate her headaches. So it was a very expensive surgery, very expensive. And they had it done a little over a week ago. And she just recovered like you can't imagine. As a matter of fact, her little eyes stitched, and the stitches will dissolve, and they've started to dissolve. And yesterday afternoon, my daughter called me just hysterical. Woke up yesterday morning and Ethel Cupcake was swollen, bloated real big, all over her body. And they took her to the vet yesterday afternoon, and they did some initial x-rays and scans, and they feel like she's just eaten up with cancer. And Jennifer and Riley are just devastated. They are absolutely devastated. So my daughter has two really good friends who are also veterinarians, and she's talked with them last night, and they're trying to get in touch with the surgeon because this has raised some questions. Why didn't he do some testing before he did the surgery? He did send off tissue to pathology, and that report is not back yet. So you don't know, but he was just sure when he removed her eye that the cancer had not spread. If it was malignant, it had not spread. But they don't know if this is that or if it's something entirely different. When they adopted her, there were just no records because the people who dropped her off just dropped her off. That basically gave her name, and that was it. And so I told my daughter last night it wouldn't surprise me if her previous owners had, they knew, and maybe they just couldn't afford it. And for them, this would be an easier way to deal with her, is just to let someone else adopt her and do what needed to be done. So I suspect that's what's happened here, which is okay. They've made the decision. They do want to find out what this is, and they'll make decisions as to what to do, where to go from here. They're very upset. They've gotten very emotionally involved with her over the past 3 months. She is a cute dog, and she's a sweet dog, and evidently she just follows Jennifer everywhere. I mean, everywhere. She has become Jennifer's dog, and it's just a sad thing. I'm so proud of them for adopting a senior. there are so many senior dogs out there that do need to be adopted for sure. So I'm very proud of them for taking that on, and that they would even spend the kind of money that they've spent. But, you know, quite obviously, had they had any idea of the cancer in her body, if that's what this is, I'm not so sure that they wouldn't still adopt her, but they may have taken a different approach with her care. So for sure, I don't think they would have had her eye removed. But anyway, it is what it is, and I will keep you updated. I know a lot of you follow Jennifer on Facebook and on Instagram. Ethel Cupcake also has an Instagram account, and Jennifer has been keeping her on there pretty frequently. So at some point, I'm sure she'll talk about her on there. So just sort of keep them in your hearts with what they're going through with her. Arlo is doing great. They also have a bird, a parrot, Elvis, who dances, that Riley has had for, I think, 25 years. So they're an animal family. Now let me look at my list. Hurricane, okay. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, one other thing. I did a video about this a while back. I subscribed to an app on my iPad mainly. It was called Texture, and it was where you could read magazines, and multiple magazines every month for like $10 a month. And you could read all of them that you wanted. And as it happened, it pretty much covered all of the magazines that I like to read. And a month or so ago, I think it was owned by Apple, but it was under the name of Texture. But Apple has done away with the Texture name, and it's now just called Apple News, I think, is what it is. But it's News plus Magazines. And it's the same thing, but it's just magazines that you can read on your tablet. You may be able to read them on your computers and your phones. Don't hold me to it, I'm not sure about that, but I know you can read them on your tablet. But one magazine that is not on there that I absolutely love, and I can't remember if I've ever mentioned it to you. I would not read this anyway on a tablet because I want to feel this. It is a heavy magazine. The pages are thick. It's really well done. It's expensive. It is US $19.99. In Canada, it's $21.99. It's called Bella Grace. And I found mine, I found it at Michael's and I found it at Joann's. And oh my gosh, this is the brand new issue. It comes out, I believe, 4 times a year. And this is issue number 21. And this is wonderful. If you're in a store and see this, flip through it. Let me tell you what's in this particular one. Number 1 is how to be a magic maker. 15 ways to add some sparkle to an off day. Garden alchemy. 48 books to get you through hard times. And then recreating your world with odd and ordinary. And the articles and all the photography are from readers. Anyone can submit their writing, their poems, their stories, and from time to time they will actually ask you if you have something to contribute, what they're looking for, the subject matter. And one of the things that really sort of jumped out at me, before I show you this article, let me tell you about something I've been collecting forever. Not only when we travel, but just in my everyday life, I do it so much that I'm always looking down to see if I see something. Anytime I'm where there's rocks or gravel. I collect rocks, stone, coral, anything that's shaped like a heart. And I just went over and got from a table a little handful of rocks that I collected a couple of years ago on the beach in St. Mark's in the Caribbean. And sometimes you have to really use your imagination. When you see it, you have to go, yeah, I think that's what it is. So let me show you. This is the first one. And I will take a pic. I'll lay these out and take a picture of them. But there's that one. Maybe you can see it better. And then this one, you know, you sort of have to look at it. I'll show you the back. Sometimes one side looks like a heart and the other one doesn't. This is a smaller one. Look at this teensy one. I hope you can see that. Look at that. And this is a piece of coral. I can see the heart in it. And then look at this coral. It was just on the beach. So, when I was glancing through this magazine a couple of days ago, look at this. Look at the picture. The article is called Sacred Stones. And it talks about finding heart-shaped rocks wherever she goes, but mostly on beaches. So isn't that neat? I've never heard of anybody else doing it. I don't talk about it, I just do it. People that we may travel with, or, you know, I've been known to get real excited over finding a rock in a parking lot that looked like a heart. So I love my heart-shaped rocks and coral. It's fun, it's a nice thing to collect, and it's free. But also in this magazine, I want to read this to you, and it's by Sydney Smith. Try to make at least one person happy every day, and then in 10 years, you may have made 3,650 persons happy or brightened a small town by your contribution to the fund of general enjoyment. So if you're kind to one single person every single day, in 10 years, you will have had 3,650 acts of kindness. And that's just once a day. Many of us practice kindness so often that there are multiple times that we go out of our way to be kind to people. So I'll leave you with that, just to go out and be kind. Be kind. Know that I love you, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.